What's your influences? What are your influences?
Well, of course, there's all of the, London kind of graph guys, you know what I mean? The Chrome Angels, obviously. Obviously. You can't not be influenced by them if you come from London.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then there's obviously the guys that didn't get so much recognition, non-stop artists.
Oh, yeah, of course.
There's so many crews, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many crews. So, and I was lucky. I lived... I was in South East London, but I could get the train up into London. I was it was 20 minutes to Victoria from where I lived. So I was able to go and see, like Covent Garden, those places as a young kid.
Oh, so you were there when it was?
Yeah. I wasn't painting, but I was, I was like
watching,
8 years old. I was watching,
That's
so I could go and do
mad.
that. You know what I mean? Which was amazing to live near London. You know what I mean? And been able to do that. So that's. They're the obvious influences, but then obviously at the same time, there's obviously all the New York stuff because everybody was influenced by that. So it would again in the Bible, But in particular, there was like Dondi, because he was doing a little bit different stuff as well. He was one of the first people I saw when he was doing his canvas work, when he was actually using like bits of card and tape and stuff. So he was using that. Back, he was using stuff like that back in the early 80s, you know what I mean? So, which is why, when people get a bit funny, you use tape and stuff, I was like, man, come on, people have been messing around with stuff like that for years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? From the beginning.
Tweaking that amplifier, moving those speakers and
yeah,
mics,
exactly. It's just that, you're still using spray paint, it's just another little thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're the kind of obvious kind of graph influences, and then I spent a lot of years because I went to art college in Croydon. I did a lot of spent a lot of years doing kind of abstract painting, So
Nice.
you can see again, you look at my work, you can see a lot of negative space and stuff. I love my abstract stuff, as well.
That's one of the things that gravitated me to this stuff was the way in which the use of space.
Yeah,
and the abstract. It's just the flares and the atmospherics that you create.
And that is from years of looking at abstract work, So and painting it as well. So that's a love of mine, And I always think, So eventually I'll get bored of the faces, And I think, really I'm an abstract kind of painter. Really, that's what
But you can't.
and that influenced my letters as well before, they were quite abstract as well. So space has always been important, composition, space, that's... So I spent many years, exploring different kind of techniques and mediums and stuff like that when I was at college, So...
and you're into graphics, you like,
Not really, I've never been into graphics, man.
Interesting.
I'm not most graffiti artists became like graphic designers, man. I was like, no, I'm never into computers, so I'm like super old school, which is a bit difficult now because people want full-on colour designs of murals and stuff, and I'm like, dude, best you're gonna get is like a little sketch.
You're fucking with the wrong.
No, I love that. I wish I had learned graphic design, but that's not my thing. No.
There's something to be said though, and this definitely holds true to your style and technique. I guess it kind of mirrors an 80s approach to sci-fi. Like now, with the technology being so on point, it doesn't leave much to the imagination to fill in the blanks. When you see an 80s horror flick, it's almost like, first of all, why would someone make something so gross? But it's almost like the Jaws effect, where you don't actually see the shark, but it's there. And there's something about, your work that the kind of... the energy of it and just the way in which you approach it. There is a subtleties that allow the mind to fill in the blanks. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I mean, that's for me. That's what art is for. Art, it's not just copying what you see. It's creating something different, a different interpretation. That's why I hated art college, because it was like, or even art at school, because it was like, I want you to draw this fruit bowl exactly as it is, And it was always about who could draw the most realistic. And that was like, no, that's not art for me. That's what a camera's for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what you know what I mean? That's what a camera's for.
Yeah.
You know, I want to look at something and just get transported.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
and that's what I try and create in my work.
For sure.
You know, you look at it and you drift off. You're in another realm. You're in a dream world. You know, you're escaping reality. You know, so and that's what I've always tried to create. You know, and that's what I want to see when I look at a picture.
And
I want it to
looking
take
at-
me
yeah.
somewhere.
And
Do you know
being-
what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
It's not like, oh, that's a nice, you know,
Yeah,
picture
exactly.
of I don't know, a hill or something. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's
feel
like,
you.
and that's why I never got on with traditional art teaching because of that.
Yeah.
You know,
You
they
make
were
it
like,
work.
you know, you need to know. I remember they were like, you know, you need to know exactly what you're doing. It's almost like you had to write an essay about something before you've even painted it. And I was like, no, I don't know what I'm doing until I'm painting it. It's all part of the process. And they were like, no, you can't think like that. I was like, I don't. That's
I think I'll fucking want.
yeah. It's
You know what I
like,
mean?
no, man. You know, it's that's what I'm saying. You know, that's the freestyle thing again, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
that's the freestyle.
Do you think
thing.
those markings of like to dos and what to dos in schooling and teaching, and especially with graphics now, like they're rules made to be broken. If you ain't breaking them, then there's a problem.
Exactly. That's true. It's true.